Hello, welcome to the Stacking Dinger Show. Your home for all things underdog in best ball, baseball. You can tell this is taking place after the recording of the previous episode, so we won't try to hide it and make it super formal. But we're doing a mini-sode here, something that we hope to be doing a few more times before the draft season is over. Billy, welcome in again. Still, always welcome.
Yo, what's up? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Uh, if you're just finding us here, check us out, stackingdingers.com. Get the show straight into your inbox and our main episodes. Um, and we are on a quest for 500 YouTube subscribers by the start of baseball season. So go, if you're enjoying this, subscribe, do all that great stuff. The idea here is we're calling it the slow draft situation room. Kind of wanted to call it slow draft hell because at some point we'll be looking in at Chris's 150 slow drafts at a time or 50 or whatever he ends up doing with his border hopping. But I have I'm about I forget uh, less than 10, but more than 8 uh, slow drafts that I'm on the clock right now. So we're gonna see how this goes. We're just gonna work through them, and we'll see what kind of conversations pop up. But we'll be making these 10 picks across these teams. They're bullpen teams that I started, you know, across the holidays. Because I didn't have a bunch of time to just sit down and do drafts, so I wanted to still get some drafts in and entered a bunch of slows. Billy, do you do many slows?
Early, like right now, I'm picking at some slows because I'm trying to get familiar with the player pool and the ways I like to get through the draft. When it becomes like dinger season, I almost exclusively do fast drafts. One, I think that it's an edge that I know where my like outs are to get stacks and what pitchers I like later. And there's going to be like maybe one or two people in these drafts that don't have that same level of comfort. So that's like a value that I can create there. Also, I just love sitting down for an hour and just drafting,
Right.
and then stepping out. And these ones are just about an hour. So yeah, that's I'm really do like to do the fast drafts, and it's one at a time. I can't really multi-table. I know some people do. I don't know. I like it's just focus on one. I enjoy it.
Yeah. For me, yeah, Dinger, I definitely um, do single tables, and these don't really fill fast enough to do multi tables. Although it was pretty fun last year. I did a sheep seats show that I drafted one on each site at the same time, which
Oh yeah.
that was a lot of fun to do. So uh, we'll try to do that again. But yeah, the first team here, we have 2 picks left on it. Um, we are a 7-6-5 build at this point. Um, looks like I started with a Strider. This looks like a pray all health outcomes go right in my pitching staff kind of build with Sandy coming back. Is that Shane Boz being down there is a question mark in terms of health outcomes too. So starting with Strider, um, I don't think I can build a Strider team with 6, but and maybe this is in 8 when I come back around to the other pick. But I kind of want to get a 6 out, or like plan for my 6 outfielder here. I think so. You can see by my queue, I've got Toronto, Houston, Boston kind of as my queued up. Devers, Casas didn't go too deep on the Boston stack, but this is probably the deepest I've gone on maybe on a Toronto stack. I should say this is the only team I think I have Andres Jimenez on. So just by that alone,
Hmm.
I think I do have a Vlad, um, Springer, Bichette, 1 or 2 team like that. Um, But here, you can see I tried to put some high upside weekly guys into Yasker, Taylor, Jock Peterson in the outfield, along with that Jordan anchor. And then Springer has the correlation with Vlad. So that being said, the options for me here are to build this Toronto stack out. I'm pretty far off Yoshida this year. I mean, I just haven't seen it. And, Boston hasn't seen it. I don't think I'm going down to Rob Refsnyder. It's just my habit of queuing up the whole team in the stack potential. Uh, I'm pretty out on infielder here. I might add a seventh, but I don't think I'm going to miss out on Diaz or Story. So the option I think would be Varsho, or to go with one of these guys I'm just generally higher on in McCarthy and Robles. Um, Robles is a new addition to my drafting late round outfielder, like 19, 20 round outfielder.
So I think with this decision, so you have two more picks left, and what do you have to do? And is one question we'll have to cover. And so what do we have to do? Is we do have to, at least to structural, we have to tack on another outfielder,
right,
to get to 6 minimum. And then what can we do to fill maybe a position of weakness, or is what maybe with that last pick? And if I'm looking at these, say we have 7 pitchers, maybe we can get. Do we need an 8? Maybe, maybe not.
yeah.
Do we need a 7th infielder? I would say almost definitely not with how strong these names are. Do we need a potentially 7th outfielder? Looking at that list of 5, could use another 2 to maybe get there. So that's where my head is at. So could be an outfielder, could be a pitcher, highly unlikely to be an infielder. So that's kind of just what I wanted to start the conversation with.
Yeah, I guess the only argument against an infielder is I just like Yander Diaz in general. I might put him just as a correlation piece, but you're generally right. This is maybe a 7-6-7. So yeah, let's go with Dalton Varsho. Question marks on when he's going to play this year. So taking him really does sort of lead then to likely doing another outfielder on this team too. All right, next one up. This one we are earlier on in the draft. We have position 10, started Carroll Churio, and then some infield beefy older guys. And this looks like, so I've got 2, 4, 4 at this point. I did spend early on Reagan's, and then again, a Strider pick here, going off the confidence of Reagan's being a pretty good workhorse from what we saw last year. And then I think my infield and outfield is pretty evenly distributed. Carroll with Naylor and Suarez here for a stack, and then Yelich and Churio, who, if you want to take one of these infield guys with them late, you can always, that option is always available with that combo.
I guess do you set up your queue in by team?
Yeah.
I'm trying to process what we're doing here because I
do
it differently because you have your ranks, which
currently
if this is new to, I guess go ahead.
Yeah, currently the ranks are loaded here. So my player pool on the left is currently on my rank, not on ADP, and
And I guess
Yeah,
it is noteworthy that if you didn't watch the episode before this, which is going through our ranks, your ranks are very much like sets of tiers more than
yeah,
they are like ordinal ranks that would be to draft upon, because it's not like you're look at that chunk of that whole block of pitchers and then you have a block of infielders. That's then a block of pitchers again. Like that's
right.
probably not how you draft it.
Yeah, so yeah, as I'm looking at this team, I know uh, I don't have to take Kodai Senga here because I know I have these two tiers of pitchers I like that I'm gonna get two or three
Mm-hmm.
of, which would get me up to five pitchers by whatever. Let's see, what pick would that be by round. So if I take a position player here, I take three guys after that. I'm pretty set on my pitching with that five core. And yeah, these are the two tiers that I love, and even later there's this other tier down here for me that I'm happy getting two guys out of too. So I don't have to take a pitcher here. And this is where I would look at, am I getting a nice value on Senga? Because you see my rank is pretty even with ADP,
Mm-hmm.
so that I might do that. I'm already pretty high on the number of Arizona guys, um, but yeah. Oh, back to your original question that came down this path. Yeah, the queue. It depends on the draft whether I actually take time to sort this by ADP over here, or if I just look at. I know I have the guys queued, and I can scroll down and I can see the stars on the left upcoming of guys I wanted to stack on
Mm-hmm.
teams. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense. So where do you want to go with this? It's
I think
you
this is
think it,
I think this is
um,
Gurriel for me. I'm gonna get this fourth uh, Arizona. I'm not gonna take a fifth in Jake McCarthy. Um, and pretty much after Gurriel and Bilday, uh, I have a big this is a big tier break for me in outfield. I have a lot of questions about all of these guys. Um,
mm-hmm.
so I don't think Lourdes Gurriel is going to blow anyone away this year, and he's probably higher costed than what his results from last year show. But that's just a team bet here.
Yeah, and you're not going to go any deeper than that. And you're up in a couple picks as well.
Right.
So you're going to be able to get definitely one of that next tier of pitchers if that's where you're trying to go. And then you could take a look, pushing it potentially even further,
Yeah.
if that following tier has names that all align with that next ADP
Yep.
or
Exactly.
next pick slot.
All right. These are this might never end. As we draft, we're going to get more picks as I take
It's
picks and
just an
other people.
infinite.
Yeah.
It's an infinite loop.
All right. So here we are again at a similar spot. The one pitcher and instead of 4 and 4, 1-3-3 at this point. This one started with we have the Devers Casas combo like that first team. We have a Merrill Machado combo here. Um, Judge pick 2, Bellinger to put with him. We had that discussion about how Bellinger might be a little bit overpriced, but I did put him with Judge here. So again, my mind, what I'll do is I'll go over to this and I'll look, and right now, there's not another stacking partner until Anthony Volpe and Paul Goldschmidt, who have quite different ADPs, but as you can see, I have them
Mm-hmm.
ranked pretty close. So I'm not putting any priority to stacking anymore here. So this is interesting. This is a kind of another of these pitching tiers that I have. Um, looking at the teams that I have. So if I want to continue the Padres stack, I know I have a lot. I have Bogarts and Cronenworth for late infield options. You can kind of take some shots on Boston more infielders if you want. Um, so I don't feel super pushed into infielder over outfielder. And again, looking at these stacks that I've started, um, there's not really an outfielder that I'm just dying to have in addition to them. So I might look at outfielder here. Um,
Well, here's a question. So you have this pick and then the turn and then yours. Are you going to take a picture with one of those two picks? Or
I
are you
think
going to push
like
it?
I do think I'm likely to take one pitcher here. Um,
Okay, and so there's a massive tier there. Let's just push that around the corner and just not make that decision on this one because the guy at the turn has two. If he wants to take two more, or just if he takes one more, we have plenty. If he takes two of them, let him have his fun with his overspending on pitching. So I think that helps with our decision
yeah,
there, and then now it's just a matter of do you want to get stronger at infield and make that an advantage, or do you want to get what is quickly diminishing outfield?
yeah. So you can kind of see here I have 3 tiers of outfielders left. This is kind of a small tier, but this is actually this is how I'm ending up with a ton of Tyler O'Neill. Is very similar teams to this, where I'm feeling the outfield wall coming,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of why I have him so high compared to ADP is I just like because usually when I'm here, I have nice guys that I like at outfield, and because I don't tend to take a lot of the injury prone outfielders, other than Yelich, I guess. Um, but he feels like a guy that, I'll get his couple of spike weeks throughout the year, and hopefully I get a playoff spike week out of him. So that's just how I'm ending up with a lot of Tyler O'Neill this year.
And that makes a
Um,
ton of sense. He was great last year. I I like that pick. Before we move on from this draft, though, could you just entertain me with what it would look like if you had not picked Cole and you had double tapped pitcher here? So, like, what a representative outfielder would have been in that Cole slot
yeah,
instead?
sure. That's a good question. Let's go.
So it's a Trout, it's a Steer, it's Adolis Garcia, Randy Rosarena.
Yeah, that is. I have Trout at the end of that outfield tier, but that's I'm taking Steer with Ellie if I start Ellie, and I'm all right taking Steer here. I don't love it the cost. Um, Adolis, I'm just having a tough time uh, getting to him this year, and I still have questions about Randy in Seattle. Um, I might even take Seiya over all those guys. I think, but I mean, and obviously I have Christian Yelich ranked up here, so this would have been a steer or take one of these questionable outfielders or bump Yelich up for me.
Yeah, and it's just if you keep falling on the same player, you got to think about how did I get here, so you don't end up walking yourself into the same decision every single time.
True.
Yeah.
Or I mean, to be honest, in the bullpen, I am super heavy on guys. I don't think I'm going to take that forward into the dinger, but in terms of learning the player pool, I think for me, I'm comfortable just going extreme in this contest. Um, so, yeah,
Yeah, and I like that. I think that for like as you said, the dinger, it's just a bigger tournament, so you want to have diversity. But I get that, and that's but also like this is why we do these early drafts is to get the reps in so that you know just what to do.
Yeah, and if I had taken a steer, Matt McLean would have been looking really nice here. I like him at this value. Um, Probably going to move to the outfield, so his infield, the question playing bowl time there isn't a question, I should say. And then another thing I'm doing often in this part of the draft is taking Matt Chapman and then Elliot Ramos, with
Mm-hmm.
planning that pick later. Um, so I have a lot of that combo at this point. But yeah, I think I am going to just to make it different. I'm not going to take Tyler O'Neill. That's my inclination here. But let's double tap pitcher here, and so this group has a couple of injury concern guys: Glasnow, Gallen, Strider, and a couple of guys I think that are pretty safe in their injury grades. So if I'm double tapping here, I want to take one of each of those profiles, and I actually think so. For me, it's like, do I want Glasnow or Strider here as one of the picks? And then do I want Brown, Imanaga, Castillo as one of these picks, I think. Um,
Do
and
you want to go upside first, or do you want to go oatmeal first?
I don't think somebody's going to take Glasnow and Strider. So I'm happy with either of those guys. So I'm going to take a guy out of this tier that I know I want more exposure to, and I'm going to take Shota and get a slight value on him here. All right. So this is going to be a full length episode, is what we're learning.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take long. One draft takes a bit of time.
All right. So here
Don't need
we're,
to bring 10.
yeah. Yeah. Well, this is a ongoing, we'll play it by ear sort of thing, but we'll be getting these, hopefully some of these, more of these out this year as, supplemental episodes. So here's a different build, 5-6 or 5-3-6. What have we got in terms of correlation? Yeah, so here you have a very common grouping: Matt Chapman, Elliot Ramos, Jung-Hoo Lee. Two to three of those guys are on a lot of my teams. I just feel like it's a really safe, or it feels safe out there. So I did miss out pretty much on all the other Texas guys. I do have Tatis and Machado. So yeah, those infield guys are available later. Although I guess we're getting up close to that. I think this is an infield pick for me. Obviously, I've got 5 pitchers that seem pretty nice. We haven't talked about Robbie Ray much, I don't think, but he is my most owned player.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is simple. I think I'm going to take Josh Young. I don't have much of him. I'm jumping down a tier of my infielders, but just kind of a diversification sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of those where the only pause I have, because I mean, structurally it fits everything you're trying to do, is like this is where you may want to like consider ADP rank versus rank to like, can I get them in the next instance or not? Because I assume he would have been there at 183, but that's fine.
Another thing, this is probably a half a other episode, but I've been leaning towards really ignoring ADP once you get to 150 and after. I just think that so many of those guys are similar as you go down, and in terms of building different teams. I'm especially doing this with the late Dodgers guys, the Edman and Muncy. I have them both pretty high up in my ranks. I'm happy to take them there because, a lot of the builds with those guys are going to have them paired with, I don't know. I don't know. I guess somebody else took Max Muncy here. But in terms of how those guys are going to be built, they're going to be paired. If you take them later, they're going to be paired with earlier guys. But the guy at 150 that's paired with Tommy Edman compared to the infielder at 190, I don't see that much of a gap in terms of those guys. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. I think that it's like definitely as the draft gets later, the ADP, like the drop off player to player becomes less, as well as ADP may not be as sharp. It just comes out to like, do you want to try to extract value out of that? I think ADP more than anything is going to tell you when the player is likely to go,
right,
more than it is like the production that it's expected to give you. Like, oh, I got all this ADP value, therefore I will win. I don't know if that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I think that I just don't think that applies like at all at the end of these drafts.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see, 655 here. Very common pitching staff: Brown, Miller, Ray. I have a lot of those three guys. Ober, Bradley's the guy I'm trying to work in more. This one is pretty light on a big stack. I guess so I did. This is a speculation. Santander to Toronto idea. I guess that was the idea here. I didn't get any of the other pieces of it that I really would want, but so I'm not pushed into grabbing a Toronto guy. I'm not really pushed in anything here. This might just be a CES for the mini Cincinnati, so that's what we're gonna do. And then our infield feels pretty good at 6.
Quick question. Hunter Brown, what is he pitcher rank? Pitcher of what? You may have to look him up.
I thought they used to show that here.
You just have to click on them.
Oh.
So like if you were to click on his name.
So there it is.
Pitcher 28.
He's pitcher 28.
So that's a proper 0 pitcher build if your first pitcher is pitcher 28.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. Those names that we saw, I don't remember which one. There it is. Yeah. Brown, Ober, Miller, Ray, Bradley, Woodruff. Like, I probably won't. I'll probably grab a 7th, but if you wanted to stop at 6 here and say that Ray and Woodruff are healthy and productive, I'm probably fine even with that. All right. Let's see. We get 2 picks here.
So baby, 0 pitcher. I love to see this.
This is a true 0 pitcher here.
Yes, sir.
And again, here's my experimental Santander Toronto stack phase. When I was deciding to do that, so we have Bichette, Springer, and potentially Santander. When those rumors were heavy, although who isn't Toronto rumored to bring in at this point? I guess I even let's see. I don't know what I paired Bregman here, but I don't think I did. Got a mini with Olsen and Harris. Looks like I did bump up Julio from ADP here.
I like this team. I like this start a lot.
So this looks like done at outfield for sure.
Absolutely. And this goes back to just the way outfield scores. Outfield is going to give you less points than infielders will throughout every point in the draft, essentially after like the first tip top premium guys. And so going forward, this is looking towards our flex. We're going to want to fill that with infielders.
Yeah, so I do think we need to grab a pitcher here. I do have this big tier. Let's. Okay, I do. I want to make sure I get Cal Raleigh on this team with Julio and Randy.
He's 169. We've been just talked ADP is
Yeah.
more of a function of when he will get drafted. Where does up to 133? Where does that next one line up for you?
Yeah, 156, 157. So I can definitely get him there. Going on ADP. Yeah, I definitely feel comfortable there. I'm probably not going to take Robles on this team, but I'm just going to leave him starred. So I do want to go by these ranks. I'm going to highlight these two tiers of pitchers. And then sort by ADP. So we're likely going to be jumping in another pitcher here with Cal Raleigh. So get rid of my sort. So that one.
And that next pick is Mackenzie Gore, maybe Mackenzie Gore, Ronaldo Lopez, Sean Manaea, Mitch Miller.
Yeah. So then, let's just take these top two. Joe Ryan. I don't know. I could take any of these three guys.
So if this is, I guess, like I do really like Steele. He's one of us. So there is that good feeling. Kikuchi, I think, has been rock solid for a while. Another name here, I know it's jumping down into the next tier, and he may be available in the next pick. Mackenzie Gore is a name that I'm like kind of all over right now, and that's partially leaning into people that are smarter than you. Lance Brostowski put a video out about how he thinks he's one pitch away from being awesome, and showed signs of that last year. So I'm kind of okay. As I said, lean into an expert. If he's got a guy thinks he's going to be great, okay, I'll draft a bunch from this year. So maybe he'll be available for the next pick. Though, not sure.
Yeah, I think he will be. And let's just do it. Let's have some fun. This is a true zero pitcher build. I don't have a ton of those. All right, so here's another weird one. Don't know what I was thinking here. We're at 476. It's not common for me to have I'm not exactly sure how I ended up with CS as my seventh infielder here. This must have been maybe a late night or early morning pick. I'm kind of surprised by that, but we are seeing another common. Here's another Chapman, Ramos, Lee group. Again, Tyler O'Neill. And then I have Swanson, Michael Bush, Kyle Tucker. I have a mini Olsen Riley. So I don't need any more infielders on this team. And we're reaching basically.
You do need some arms.
We do need some arms. And we're reaching, I can tack on basically any of these outfielders at this point. For a seventh, if I want to. So let's look at pitcher. Actually, you can probably see I just have this huge tier. I kind of did this for pitching and infielder and outfielder. These last tiers are just like the bottom of the barrel,
like draftable, but
draftable.
gross.
I like the order of these guys is really not set at all. This is what I have here. So looking at who we do have, we have Cease, Flaherty, Fott, and Walker Buehler. So good health outcome out of Jack Flaherty. We have and we kind of have a potential for a lot of innings here. So I'm not feeling like I necessarily need to go with innings eater. So like Merrill Kelly. So I'm going to go with a guy who I want to get a little bit more of. Let's just take Jeff Springs here. Like I said, this whole group is like, okay, I'll draft them. And I'm trying not to get I'm trying not to get too like attached to any certain one of them.
And I think that's important because it's pretty easy in that range at the end of the draft to get way overweight one or two guys. Oh, I like this pitcher at the end, or I like these. Especially if you're a zero pitcher kind of drafter like myself, who ends up looking for a pitcher or two at the end of the draft. It ends up being the same guys. So really need to find ways around that.
The counterpoint being like if your guy had been Garrett Crochet last year on every team, you would have been pretty happy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is a Jacob deGrom team, so I'm taking Logan Webb. Pretty simple decision here. There's no cute guy. I have this Atlanta and the Cubs stack. PCA is here. Yeah, I'll have another opportunity if I want to decide to go with him. So this is you're as reliable as your current season, but Logan Webb has been a reliable innings guy. So we're going to put him with Jacob deGrom.
That's something that we need to look more into because I'm skeptical on that thought process of I think you can build Logan Webb in the aggregate. So I'm like, I don't know if you really need to. Maybe you're saying that you're concerned about the innings there, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not excited about what he brings to the table.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. 4-5-5. Mets, Cincinnati kind of group here. Nobody really on my radar. Yeah, this is another pitcher pick. Again, this tier is pretty similar to me. But I did say I've been trying to get more Taj Bradley. So I'm going to go with that here. All right. We are down to one last one. This guy is, 2 picks left.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced to this point. Let's see at our ADP. Okay, so this is an LA team. So for those of you watching, yes, I have drafted Ellie De La Cruz. The proof is here. And this is all young guy upside team. So this is maybe just for fun, quote unquote. But we have Jackson Holiday, CJ Abrams, Ellie, Jackson Merrill, James Wood, Dylan Cruz, Parker Meadows. So this is probably a thematic build, which is not what you probably want to be building teams on. But
so let's star up Kumar Rocker
when you when you have
Uh,
when you have 30 slow drafts going, sometimes, or even you're in your 50th draft of the season, you kind of have to build for fun. But
mhm,
you will see I did still stick with my general correlation strategy. So I have a big Washington stack, the Cincinnati stack. I put Cronenworth and Bogarts with Merrill.
mhm.
Um,
Veteran leadership.
so yeah, to clubhouse guys, bench guys to bring in the rest of the team. What did I do at pitcher? So so Cole, Kirby, Peralta, Gaussman, Robbie Ray, Arrighetti. Um, yeah,
I don't think you actually need rocker. I was just
I'm
more
doing it for the
okay.
bit and for the. Um, I don't know. I think he could get a lot of innings. I think he could get 120, 140 innings at this point. I'm interested in that potential. Um, so yeah, there we
I
go.
mean, you wish you had schemes last year, and it's could he do that? Maybe if it's to a lesser extent, but timed correctly, then yeah. But he does seem to have this like outrageous slider.
Mhm. Let me just pull it up here as we close this out. Um, Pull up his fan graphs. Kumar Rocker. All right, so we turn on, or we look at innings. So I don't know where they're getting 141 innings here for Steamer. I'm not sharing the screen anymore. Good job. Good hosting. So yeah, I don't know where Steamer and the depth charts is getting 141 innings. He only pitched 50, um, but they have 23 starts, and I think the K number projecting projecting a rookie for under 4 ERA is is a good sign to me. I mean, it's
It,
not like we had the super in depth pitching stats episode, but just a general rule of thumb: seeing a K per 9 over 9 and an ERA under 4 projected for a rookie. We'll see what other systems project him at, but that is a positive sign for me.
yeah, it's indicative of his talent. That innings number is interesting, um, especially looking at the history of like him being built up to that. We don't know what he's done outside of this, um, and such. But the the part that I think is noteworthy is like to have high pitcher scores. You're going to need lots of innings or a bunch of strikeouts or a combination of both. And if he's only going to be out there 4 or 5, maybe into the sixth inning, then you're not going to get those big pitcher like scores from him. So might be something to consider with
Yeah,
the.
there's
Well,
there's
that's
a
a profile we'll look into.
there is a lot of risk in that, though, also in
Yeah.
terms of playing time. Does not fit my usual. I want a rookie who has pitched 100 innings already
Mm-hmm.
profile. All right, so yeah, that was 45 minutes. So we definitely don't need to bring 10 teams or whatever in the future when we do these short episodes. But thanks, Billy, for trying this adventure with me.
Of course, always. This is fun. Drafting with friends is fun.
Oh, absolutely, it's what we love to do. So uh, yeah, give us feedback on this episode if this is something you do want to see. If you think it's pointless and you don't care about this sort of thing, let us know that too. Um, would you like to provide you with what you want to see and learn about too, and we can learn together. So for Billy and myself, this has been the first edition of the slow draft situation room. I got to work on saying that. It's like not slur situation. All right. So take care.